Experience would be an advantage for this managerial role. Students only can select one subject from biology and math. The library is located on the north side of the campus. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about the other theories that can explain the variations in climate. Good research presents many benefits to real people. You should include your name and identity number in the registration form. Half of the marks in mathematics are allocated to the correct working. What is the most effective way of interaction between teachers and students in class? The development in information technology has greatly changed the way people work. We can meet in my office after the lecture. The sports team members often practice on weekdays and play games on weekends.
Tropical diseases encompass all infectious diseases such as malaria, lymphatic filariasis, African trypanosomiasis, leishmaniasis, dengue, and chikungunya, occur solely in the tropics and thrive in hot, humid conditions. Approximately 1 billion people from tropical and subtropical areas covering developing and least developed countries of Latin America, Caribbean, Africa, South Asia, and Southeast Asia are affected by these diseases. Due to global warming and increase in the temperature, many infectious diseases have resurfaced with vengeance, making it difficult for health authority across the world. Crumbling health infrastructure, reduced investment in public health, and a new variant of drug-resistant infectious disease have wreaked havoc in the developing countries. Eutrophication is the process whereby the terrestrial vegetation is affected by an increase in the concentration of nutrients, nitrate and phosphate. Eutrophication occurs in freshwater and marine water. Indiscriminate use of chemical fertilizer contaminates groundwater and increases nutrient concentration in the various water body. The higher concentration of nutrient leads to exponential growth of algae at the cost of other vegetation. Increased decomposition of dead algae reduces the oxygen level in water, threatening other vegetation and fishes in the water. Across the world, governments are encouraging farmers to adopt organic fertilizer, sprinkler, and drip irrigation methods to rationalize the usage of chemical fertilizers. Simultaneously, governments across the world are also discouraging farming activities nearby rivers and water bodies to control eutrophication.
People wear clothes according to the climatic conditions. This helps them to sustain the climatic conditions. During summer, people sweat a lot, so they like to wear light cotton clothes. But clothes are not readily available. There is a process in making clothes. Cotton grows on plants. It is found inside the fruit of the cotton plant called bolls. Farmers pick the cotton out from these bolls. The picked cotton looks like a bundle of some fluffy material, but actually it has thin fibers in it. These fibers are twisted together to make long threads. This process is called spinning. These threads are then woven into fabrics by weavers. The weaving machine is called a loom. The fabric is then dyed in unusual colors. Beautiful designs can be printed on it to make it look prettier. Dyeing and printing of fabric are done in a factory by dyers and printers. This fabric is then sent to the market and is used to make a variety of clothes. These clothes are then turned into beautiful outfits. We get other clothes and materials from plants. Jute is also obtained from a plant and is used to make gunny bags, ropes, carpets, etc. Linen fiber is obtained from the flax plant. It is mainly used to make bed sheets, curtains, and towels. Coir is obtained from the outer covering of a coconut. Coir is used to make foot mats, ropes, mattresses, etc. You will find jute is used to make many other useful products.
Good facilities in school have a profound impact on the outcomes of students' learning and teacher retention. Good facilities help in students' behavior, engagement, learning, and growth. According to the research, 3/4 of the schools are with inadequate building features and 58% of the schools have an unsatisfactory environment. Most of the schools lack 21st century facilities. It is one of the important predictors of student development and teacher retention. Though the cost of improving facility is high, the result will give us overwhelming results. 5 aspects of the school facility that needs to be improved are acoustics, air quality, lighting, temperature, and space. Acoustics is the first one. According to research, schools with lesser noise level have garnered better results compared to schools with higher acoustic levels. Less noise also reduces students' and teachers' distractions. The second important quality is good air quality. Many schools suffer with sick building syndrome, which results in absenteeism and performance of the students. Students with asthma are affected because of the inferior quality of the airflow. Poorly ventilated places naturally attract bacteria, viruses, and allergens that contribute to childhood diseases. Every school should have good lighting.
The key to forming strong brain architecture is what's known as serve and return interaction with adults. In this developmental game, new neural connections form in the brain as young children instinctively serve through babbling, facial expressions, and gestures. And adults return the serve, responding in a very directed, meaningful way. It starts very early in life, when a baby coos and the adult interacts and directs the baby's attention to a face or hand. This interaction forms the foundation of brain architecture upon which all future development will be built. It helps create neural connections between all the different areas of the brain, building the emotional and cognitive skills children need in life. For example, here's how it works for literacy and language skills. When the baby sees an object, the adult says its name. This makes connections in the baby's brain between particular sounds and their corresponding objects. Later, adults show young children that those objects and sounds can also be represented by marks on a page. With continued support from adults, children then learn how to decipher writing and eventually to write themselves. Each stage builds on what came before. Ensuring that children have adult caregivers who consistently engage in serve and return interaction, beginning in infancy, builds a foundation in the brain for all the learning, behavior, and health that follow.
What do you call the money you pay for speeding on the road? What do eyes produce while crying? What is the feeling of wanting something that someone else has? What does melting snow turn into? How do we describe a person who enjoys the company of others? What do you call a doctor who specializes in children's diseases? What do we call a person who fights against the government? What do we call a room or building where dead bodies are kept before they are buried? How do we describe a person unable to pay his or her debts? What do we call a book containing writings on a particular theme? If you have a chronic disease such as heart disease, diabetes, asthma, or back or joint pain, exercise can have important health benefits. However, it is important to talk to your doctor before starting an exercise routine. He or she might have advice on what exercises are safe and any precautions you might need to take while exercising. While blue is one of the most popular colors, it is one of the least appetizing. Blue food is rare in nature. Food researchers say that when humans searched for food, they learned to avoid toxic or spoiled objects, which were often blue, black, or purple. When food dyed blue is served to study subjects, they lose appetite. In an attempt to lure new students, leading business schools including Harvard, Stanford, the University of Chicago and Wharton have moved away from the unofficial admissions and prerequisite of 4 years work experience, and instead have set their sights on recent college graduates and so-called early career professionals with only a couple years of work under their belt. Howard believed that all clouds belonged to 3 distinct groups: cumulus, stratus and cirrus. He added a 4th category, nimbus, to describe a cloud in the act of condensation into rain, hail or snow. It is by observing how clouds change color and shape that weather can be predicted, and as long as the first 3 clouds keep their normal shape, there won't be any rain. It is difficult to tell whether the speaker approves of Hemingway's lifestyle or not. He was famously macho and spent a lot of time hunting wild animals, going to wars and getting into fights. All these things got into his books, and the speaker thinks that this is not necessarily a good thing, as it means that too many people prefer reading about his life to his books. Experience would be an advantage for this managerial role. Students only can select one subject from biology and math. The library is located on the north side of the campus. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about the other theories that can explain the variations in climate. Good research presents many benefits to real people. You should include your name and identity number in the registration form. Half of the marks in mathematics are allocated to the correct working. What is the most effective way of interaction between teachers and students in class? The development in information technology has greatly changed the way people work. We can meet in my office after the lecture. The sports team members often practice on weekdays and play games on weekends. Answer: fine. What do eyes produce while crying? Answer: tear or tears. What is the feeling of wanting something that someone else has? Answer: envy or jealousy. What does melting snow turn into? Answer: water. How do we describe a person who enjoys the company of others? Answer: extrovert. What do you call a doctor who specializes in children's diseases? Answer: pediatrician. What do we call a person who fights against the government? Answer: rebel. What do we call a room or building where dead bodies are kept before they are buried? Answer: mortuary. How do we describe a person unable to pay his or her debts? Answer: insolvent or bankrupt. What do we call a book containing writings on a particular theme? Answer: